thought I was feeling this? I just want the blunt. And you said you was gonna take me to brunch. Trick, you ain't fucking, I just need a munch. You thought I was feeling this? Nigga, I just want the blunt. And you said you was gonna take me to brunch. Trick, you ain't fucking, I just need a munch. Yeah, I'm the baddest and yeah, I'm a tease. Look at this body, wish you had the steez. Baddies behind me, we step in the streets. Step it went up, I'm breaking your knees. Step in the play, I'm not your little Xbox.
So as we know, everything starts with communication, and we've already got through our consent. We are protected, we have our protection, we are ready to get in the field, right? So really quick, make sure that you are asking your partners how often they're getting tested, if they're getting tested, which I know sounds a little stressful, and it's kind of like, where does this question go? Kind of like how he said with consent, but it can literally be that simple, like a casual, just like, oh, so how often do you get tested? Or honestly, because this is whole tips, y'all know I love a, throw something in, right? If y'all want, you can even, I don't want to say make up a story, because I don't be wanting to tell y'all to lie on whole tips, but y'all can be like, oh yeah, girl, I was just talking to my friend and they was messing with this person and said they don't never get tested. Ha ha ha, hey, he. Ain't that crazy? I just can't believe somebody would do something like that. And watch them. It sound crazy, but if you don't want to come out straight and say it like that, boom, there you go. It's a test. Now, if they look crazy and look at you, or they start getting all awkward and stuff, do you be getting tested? Because you be getting tested, right? Yeah, Start it that way. Otherwise, they would just look at you like, yeah, girl, I know that's so crazy. Because I be getting tested every such and such, however. But you should be getting tested. You are supposed to be getting tested after every new sexual partner. So if you were not aware, then now you know. There's also an incubation period for some, I believe, STDs, because they have there's a longer time before it'll show up on a test. So I believe if you start seeing a new partner, or you have a new partner between 2 weeks and a month after that encounter, anything, God forbid, that they might have will show up on the STD test. After that, like 15 to 30 days is over. So now that we got that out the way, we need to get into the, okay, how we getting there, So me personally, I always feel like, I have always felt like foreplay is just as important as, the rest of everything. And for the queers, foreplay can be very different. Or maybe not very different, but I feel like a lot of times ours can start with, like I said, communication. Like, for example, say you're at a bar, say we're at a gay club, right? And for me, say I am trying to flirt with a girl that I see at the bar, I feel like foreplay can start in eye contact, just like a flirty little, look. It can also start in compliments. I think that, at least for queer women, I would say, obviously, because that's like my area of expertise. Sorry if the boys are here. There may not be much that I can give to you, but I know that everybody loves a compliment, right? And I feel like if you are, looking to hook up, especially in our age group, in our age range right now, I think a lot of time, we're consumed by social media. So I think that a lot of things outside of just like being on the phone, texting, FaceTiming, in regard to like exchanging sexual energy, a lot of just being in person and being eye to eye with someone can be foreplay. So I know, especially for the girls, we love a good compliment, okay? I feel like it's a running joke amongst queer women that like we just gonna compliment you to death and hope you get the hint. So it can start in that. And I know that the boys love a compliment too, child. And a look up and down. We all love that. All the queers love a look up and down and a compliment. I'm trying to think. Usually, especially for the queers, we love a clothing or a fashion compliment, especially a makeup compliment, girl. You get, listen, some of the horniest times that I've had outside, just in passing with beautiful people, is somebody complimenting me on my makeup, child. If I have a great beat and you tell me I have a great beat and I look up and look at you and you got a nice face, it's just like the magic is there, the chemistry, the zest. It's already established. So communication is foreplay. Please keep that in mind. Use communication as foreplay. And it doesn't just have to be verbal. It can be physical. Our bodies communicate. It can be leaning in while you're talking to somebody. Especially, like I said, if you're in my age range or like college age, when you're going out, you know, you meet people, you talk to people. Lean in when you talk to them. Lay a hand on their shoulder, you know. Laugh a little bit more hearty at their jokes, right? And then when you get to the physical place, obviously foreplay can be kissing, touching. Some people enjoy like light finger trails. Some people feel like that tickles. I personally like it even though it tickles. But those are different examples of foreplay. I know some people like stuff with their ears. I also don't like ear stuff. Like if you like blowing my ear and kissing my ear, I'm like what else? I'm trying to think. A lot of people like neck kisses. I'm a neck kisses person, or like anything around my neck. I feel like the sensation of being tickled is like there's a very thin line of like between foreplay and like being tickled and having goofy time. There's like a very thin line, like what is goofy time and what is like, ooh, that feels nice. What else? There's different things with like heat and colds, like with temperature. I know a lot of people like trailing ice on their partners. I guess like equal but opposite, some people like hot oil. There's like hot body oils that are like natural, like all natural oils that you can order to kind of get into that mood. Speaking of moods, setting the mood to me is also foreplay, but this is also where it comes to communication, right? Because you got to communicate with your partner about these things. Like, what if you're doing something that they don't like? This is where it all goes back to communication. You got to talk. Like, for example, if I don't like people being on my ear, I have to say like, oh, I don't like that, sorry, like stop doing it. And that can be awkward too, right? Like if somebody's doing something that you don't like, but you want to communicate so that it can be a pleasurable experience for everybody. Obviously, or hopefully that person doesn't want to be making you uncomfortable and you don't want to be made uncomfortable. So making sure that we're communicating before, during, and after sex is very important. I'm trying to think of other like foreplay examples. I didn't even really define foreplay, did I? It's the beginning. It's what gets you to that level that you want to get into the act, right? And it can be a wide range of stuff. Another thing I want to talk about is sex toys, because they can be used in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. And we know the gays and the queers, we usually get all the credit for knowing what to do with a sex toy, right? So there's different type of vibrators and massagers that you can use. I know a lot of people that their love language is touch. They really like, you know, a nice massage and being touched and rubbed on. It can kind of get them in the mood. I also know people that aren't like vibrator people and just like don't vibe with that. Like they just want the physical touch, and that takes us back to communication. Me personally, I was not a sex toy person for the longest until I realized I was queer. And a whole new world, okay? Sorry, y'all, I don't feel good. I was about to really sing and then I thought about it and I was like, But yeah, so me personally, I love me a rose, child. And the rules with the extendo, if you enjoy penetration and you either have a vagina or a booty hole you want to stick something in, I'm telling y'all, that rose extendo is the answer. But yeah, so like even like suction, because I know that you can do that obviously without a sex toy. Ooh, nipple play. Nipple play is a good one. I feel like I'm just like rambling, like I'm just like saying stuff. But I don't know, maybe y'all need this. When I thought about this, I was like, the baby A's probably need help. And where are they gonna go? Because America said fuck sex ed, and don't nobody want to talk about the queer youth and where they're gonna get their information from. So I said, child, it's me. I volunteer as tribute. I'm the teacher. I'm the teacher now. Like, it's me. But yeah, honestly, I really just want y'all to communicate and do research and figure out which I want and which I like. Because foreplay is like super, super broad. But my overall consensus for how you kind of get there: 1, communicating; 2, prioritizing your safety and well-being and comfortability. So, you know, that obviously goes into communication. And 3, being open-minded. Sometimes your partner may know of something or want to do something that you've either never tried, or that you may be like, I don't know about that. But trying, especially I feel like in foreplay, because foreplay can be some of the most goofiest times you'll have during sex, because stuff just go awry. Like, what if you fall down? What if you standing up and you just fall down? Like, oh, I just thought of a funny sex story, because somebody asked me, like, what was the funniest thing that happened during sex one time. I think to this day, my funniest sex story is that I was in college and I was in a, oh child, I'm not good at remembering like what positions are called. I was, okay, so this was the bed, right? This was the bed. And I was like this, like with my stomach laying on the bed, and my partner was behind me. Child, while we both just collapsed, because we was in college and the bed was on risers. Well, I feel like I told this story on YouTube before. Either way, it was so funny. And you know what we did after that? We started cracking up laughing because it was hilarious. So don't take yourself too seriously in the foreplay space, okay? Get you some good moonlighting and some good music and make it a vibe, period. Literally and figuratively, because you know, vibes. Okay, I'm done. Okay, so everybody's ready, everybody's in the mood, right? So now we get into the nitty gritty. Vaginal sex, anything you put in the vagina; penile sex, anything you put in the penis in; and anal sex, anytime you're putting anything in your anus. Those are the basic breakdowns. And when I say anything, it could be fingers. Some people be putting whole hands in there, and that's not my business. I'm not judging you if that's what you like to do. Sex toys, vibrators, probably other things like household items that I don't know of, and those is not my particular type of kinks, but people be putting all kind of stuff all kind of places. Back in the olden days, the only reason people was having sex or supposed to be having sex was to have babies. Now we are trying to just get a little bit of stimulation for a little bit of ejaculation, going about our business, okay? Hookup culture and hoe culture, and just the freedom of being able to do whatever we want and not trying to have no baby and be married as soon as, you know, you even step foot into adulthood and popping out a baby. No shade. No shade. If you wanted to have a baby as soon as you stepped into adulthood, that is your prerogative. But right now, as of today, present day culture, 2023, a lot of people are just hooking up to hook up, fucking the fuck, sucking the suck, and that's cool. We just want to make sure that we're being safe and keeping in mind that our partner, whoever our sexual partner at the time, is a person and they have feelings, and yeah, making sure everyone's having a good time. So, fun fact, if you didn't know, now you know. The head of a penis and the clitoris, insert diagrams here, are very similar when it comes to sensitivity as well as biology. I know that the clitoris has, I believe, 6,000 nerve endings or 60,000, something crazy. And so it's the most sensitive part, and the head of the penis is usually the most sensitive part for folks with penises. I've also been told that balls are really sensitive, but sometimes they get involved in the sex time, sometimes they don't. So it's like, don't bother them if you know that your partner don't like that, you know, just don't even. So some people consider oral sex foreplay, some people consider it sex. That is another one of those things that just comes down to communication and how you and your partner feel, especially if you're in a monogamous relationship or otherwise, and you and your partner have rules about the sexes and the what is sex and the what is not sex and the what is flirting and what is not. That is a whole different video. But just to keep in mind, if you are, you know, engaging in oral sex, usually the head of the penis and the clitoris for folks with vaginas are the most sensitive parts, usually the places where you like to keep your attention when giving oral sex. It a lot of times gives you the best outcome. Thinking of other tips, I want to say with vaginas, a lot of times I've heard slow and steady wins the race, you know, but some folks that have vaginas love you know, quick and fast. See, if you've been watching Hoe Tips for the long haul, you know what I mean, like quick and fast. So once again, up to communication, but keeping your eye on the prize, aka the clitoris. And if your partner with a vagina enjoys penetration, some finger action in there, you're probably on a good road. As far as penises, I know that, like I said, the head is a good place to pay attention to, but especially if the person that you're messing with has like a larger penis, I know that like attention all the way around the shaft. And I heard messy is best. I heard, I don't know, I heard through the wind, like, you know, a little birdie told me that folks with the penises really enjoy lots of fluids. So yeah, if you got some extra fluids laying around, you know, in your mouth, or if you got lube, that's another thing. Don't be ashamed of lube, y'all. Now, if you got an ocean, trust me, I understand. I feel that sentiment, okay? I remember being young and being like, if I got an ocean, why do I need to worry about lube? Stick with me, okay? Stick with me. That is a good point. You may not need lube, right? What Rihanna say? And it's so wet, a bitch never ever had to use lip gloss on it. Y'all know she wasn't talking about lips, like on your face. I feel that. I feel that sentiment. I really do. However, booties, if you like stuff in your booty, booties don't just make, you know, their own fluids. So you be needing lube. And sometimes lube is just fun, you know. They have flavors, like we talked about with the condoms and the dental dams. Flavors are fun, right? You know, everything just be kind of a slip and slide. Don't sleep on lube, y'all. So now we're gonna go into different types of orgasms. So penises usually ejaculate. They're kind of boring. They just, no offense, but they kind of just do that. They usually just lay flaccid and sad after that. And not many people that I know of can recover, you know, with the quickness in the same way that vaginas do after vaginas come. So yeah, that's kind of like a superpower vaginas have. Like, you just keep going, just 17 times, big to big, and everything's cool. Sometimes penises can, you know, maybe like a good like 3 times, like come back to life within like a reasonable amount of time, and then, you know, but maybe not. Maybe there's somebody out there with a penis that could just keep going. I don't know. But I want to talk about the different types of orgasms, because I'm realizing now, sitting here talking to y'all, that like the positions and speeds and things that y'all may enjoy is very specific and up to y'all. So I'm gonna go over the different type of orgasms and aftercare, and then yeah, I'm gonna stop talking to y'all. So like I said, vaginas are a little bit more interesting. So you can have a orgasm from clitoral stimulation, like just all on its own. You can also have a orgasm from G-spot stimulation. The G-spot is not a myth. If someone told you the G-spot is a myth, I'm so sorry to hurt your feelings, but it's not. People have G-spots. I believe not everyone has not everyone has one, or not everyone has the same sensitivity, but you can have an orgasm purely just from somebody playing with the G-spot. It's about, I believe, an inch and a half into the vagina and up, and it's like a little ridged, spongy part. So you can have an orgasm just based off the strength of that. And then I'll say / vaginal orgasm, because in my humble opinion, I think that just with penetration, like with penetration not being aware of the G-spot, that could produce an orgasm. I believe that the G-spot helps that situation get there. So we're gonna put a /. We can also have, or I believe everyone can have nipple orgasms, or orgasms mainly based off of nipple play or nipple stimulation, usually paired with some other type of stimulation though. So I'm gonna leave that one up for y'all. And so obviously the ways to achieve these different orgasms with your partner are going to be up to y'all. Like I said, my general advice is with vaginas usually slow and steady wins the race. Usually there's a little bit more sensual attention to detail that is needed to get to the promised land there. And usually with penises, it's kind of a wetter, sloppier, faster. I just started thinking about stronger, faster, like the Kanye song. Anyway, but yeah, usually it's different type of stimulation for different parts, but also it's different type of stimulation for different people. So communicate with your partners, and don't be afraid to try toys. Don't be afraid to try new things. So yeah, so we're gonna get into the aftercare things and what are we doing when it's not sexy time, or if we don't want to have sexy time, what does that look like? What is aftercare? Aftercare is something that I didn't really learn about until I decided to be a dominatrix. That is something that I probably should have said at the beginning of this video, but here we are. So I decided to become a dominatrix a couple years ago. I was mostly working online and just getting trained and educated by the brilliant black doms before me, and I thought that aftercare was something that only happens in BDSM space or in kink space, and that is not 100% true. So there's different forms of aftercare for all kinds of sexual encounters, and I think for someone that has, one, worked as a dominatrix, and two, has trauma, I think aftercare is really important, and it can look different for different folks. Like I've been saying this whole video, so basically it's just checking in with your partner. Like I've been saying, there's a before, there's a during, and there's an after. So before, we have our flirting, our foreplay, our compliments, all that stuff. During, we got that stimulation to get to the ejaculation. That is the magic equation. That's what we're trying to trying to do. And then our goal afterwards is to make sure that everyone is still feeling safe, still feeling comfortable, able to communicate, and, you know, not in any sort of trauma space or frustration. Make sure that everybody came, because what is the most important? Your nuts, okay? And so aftercare can look like, did you enjoy that? What was your favorite part? Is there anything that I did that I could do better? Is there anything that I can do more of or differently? Just talking to each other. And this doesn't have to be like I said, we're in hookup culture time, so y'all don't gotta be like laid up, cuddled up with each other, head resting on shoulder, like, hi sweetness, what is the best thing that I can do for you right now? It doesn't have to be this extremely intimate thing, right? Like, if it is a hookup where it's like, okay, I gotta go to class, I gotta go to work, bye, it can literally be like a text follow up later, like, so, like, did you have fun? Like, how are you feeling? Da-da-da. Boom. Communication made easy, right? So, and obviously if you are in a relationship with this person, it's going to look a little different. It's going to be extremely intimate, right? It might have some cuddling with it, and there might be some, you know, genuine like feelings that you may be feeling like you want to protect, or like you don't want to like offend your partner or anything. But I just want to remind y'all that transparency, especially when it comes to sex, is going to be the most important thing. And especially if you are one of my queer babies out there and you're just starting your journey in your queerness, or you know, sex in general, and you're just like, okay, am I doing this right? What if they hated that? Da-da-da. You're gonna be in your head all the time if you don't ask them, right? You're gonna be in your head all the time if you don't communicate and confirm, or you know, just be open and honest. So that's aftercare. Other than that, I kind of wanted to just talk about celibacy and being abstinent, just because I think that, like I said earlier, in America, it's either abstinence, scare tactics, or like figure it out, ask your mom. Like, that's like how the United States goes about sex education. And a lot of times, if youth are getting some sort of education, they are being told like, don't do it because all these bad things can happen, and that's the version of abstinence that they're given. And so, one, I just want to break down the difference between abstinence and celibacy, because child, they be beating us up, especially on Twitter. So abstinence is choosing to abstain from sex in general. And usually when people use the term abstinence, they're talking about having never had sex and waiting until a certain point. Usually they're talking about the point of marriage, but not everyone is abstinent from marriage, just like everyone isn't celibate from marriage. But that's usually what folks are talking about. Celibacy is usually a choice that folks make after they have experienced sex and then decide that they no longer want to be experiencing sex until a later date, or until you know, they see fit again. And so there's a whole bunch of different reasons why people can be abstinent or celibate. Like I said, a lot of the times it is usually religion or some sort of like personal you know, spiritual journey that they may be going on. Also, people just don't be wanting to or feel like it, and that's a place where I kind of want to bring up asexual folks. There are people on this planet that just don't want to fuck. They don't want to. They don't have no desire. It doesn't even get them riled up going. They don't experience intimacy in the same ways that folks that are and do have sex experience it. And that is completely fine. And I just wanted to mention asexual folks because I often see where they're left out of the conversation when it comes to queer people and just like the human experience in general. And I don't feel like that's fair. Like, that's not a vibe. Like, I think that a lot of life, and especially like pop culture, is all about sex and our sexual preferences and our sexual identity. But there are people, asexual, celibate, abstinent, and or otherwise, that are just like, no thanks, please. And yeah, so I think that is just something that I just wanted to mention. I'm also interested in, because I know that at least as I went through college, I remember being interested in how folks that identify as asexual go about having romantic relationships with folks that may not identify as asexual. And so I don't know. If you have any experience with that, definitely leave it in the comments. Also, if y'all have any questions or anything, if y'all want to correct me on anything, honestly, whatever, please drop it in the comments, because I've written so many notes and like been trying to pull all this research from my teaching times, and I'm just praying that I haven't messed anything up or butchered anything or confused the hell out of y'all. But definitely leave questions and things, and if I get a whole bunch of questions, or like y'all want a part 2 or something like that with more details or whatever, or stories or whatever, I'll definitely do a part 2. So let me know. There's a lot of shame around sex, and like this virginity complex, and this idea that, you know, virginity and or having a small amount of bodies or whatever, only having had sex with this little tiny amount of people in America, for some reason, and in many other countries I know, and in other religions, it's used as this like tactical tool against most often women, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Literally, the idea of virginity is a myth. If you don't know, you can break your hymen, which is the whole physical end-all be-all of virginity. You can break your hymen by doing a split. You can break your hymen by riding a bike. You can break your hymen by dancing. Some people it breaks, some people it doesn't. I personally feel like I had a really weird experience, because like I was super active when I was younger. So what I think happened is I broke part of it and there was only like a little bit left. And so for me, when I lost my virginity, lost it, came home. So this is like 3 to 4 hours after this magical virginity complex was broken and laid down to rest in front of Jesus or whatever. And I didn't bleed, I didn't see anything until I got home. There was no blood at the scene. There was no blood that later on, when I had gone to the bathroom. It wasn't until later that day when I had got home and I'm like, oh shit. So all that shit's a farce, and it's a bunch of bullshit. And yeah, have sex when you want, have sex with who you want, unless it is illegal for age reasons. Do not do that. Then you should go to jail. You shouldn't do anything but go to jail if you have those issues. But yeah, I feel like I've covered everything, which is crazy, because if y'all could see this piece of paper, y'all would be like, girl, did you? Okay, I think I'm done. I hope y'all got something from this. I think I did really good with like not gendering things. I also hope that it wasn't offensive or annoying for me to just be talking about the biological parts, because I just didn't want any gendered terms, and I wanted everyone to feel like safe and sound. But yeah, like I said, if y'all hate this and y'all want to curse me the fuck out, drop it in the comments. If y'all have questions and want to get more up in my business, drop it in the comments. If y'all have stories, fun, oh my god, we should do like sexy story times for hoe tips. If y'all want to do, because I've always wanted to do like my subscribers email me stuff and I read it or like respond to it like so bad. So if y'all want to do interactive hoe tips, let me know, because that would be so fun. And I would love to read y'all's sexy story times. I would obviously leave everything anonymous. Yeah, I wouldn't do anything like with your username or anything like that. But yeah, if y'all want to do something like that, definitely let me know. I might just go over to Instagram and put up a poll for it now. Follow me on Instagram. All my social media is below. Go listen to my music. It's very horror friendly, slut friendly, hoe friendly. Oh, I just dropped a Pound Town remix for the Fruity Potheads. It literally says that in the description, so please go watch it and listen to it. And I'm gonna drop it on my SoundCloud soon. I'm supposed to be doing This Is New York Lovely Mix, child. It's been 2 weeks in the making. We'll see. But yeah, go listen to my music, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I hope that y'all having great, amazing, safe, and beautiful intercourse. I hope that this helps some folks out there with their hot girl summer. And yeah, we in the streets. I'm just playing with my nails, y'all. I don't be knowing what to say at the end of videos with y'all, but I hope your day is marvelous, lovely, and spectacular. And the only things that matter here are you, me, your nuts, and the fact that none of the other shit matters anyway, so we might as well have fun. So yeah, I'm out, y'all. I'm going to eat me some pizza and lay down. I got therapy soon. Bye.